What's up, Yu-Gi-Oh! Live Action fans? I'm Mr.A.
And I'm the Ashduster.
And we're going to be here answering some questions about Yu-Gi-Oh! Project games and Yu-Gi-Oh! Armageddon. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to be reading off the questions roughly when we got them.
We got them months ago, and unfortunately the original recording fell through. It will not transfer.
Right, so now we're doing it together and a little bit more off the cuff than we originally intended, but...
And we're together in person.
Oh yeah?
The original one, we were actually had to do a video call.
On to the questions. 555 Gaming and Productions asks, favorite video game?
Skyrim. Good old Skyrim. Even though it's been made multiple times.
I'd say my overall favorite is Sonic Adventure 2. That one's a classic. Though I have been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom lately. In fact, I actually just finished that one a little bit ago. Great game. Great game.
Oh yeah.
Agent for Dark asks, do you still play Yu-Gi-Oh! Casually with friends to this day? And if yes, what decks do you usually like to play with?
For me, I have been stepping away from the game a lot more and more as time progresses, but I do occasionally play with friends. And I am playing the deck I played in live action, which is Zombies, but a lot more fine-tuned, obviously.
I'm in kind of a similar boat. Well, I'm still, I don't really play the game much, except on a very casual level. When I do that, it's either the show decks or some custom deck that I made. Usually that's on, Dueling Book. Daniel J1495 asks, will Ravano use more Red Eyes cards in the reboot? Well, Ravano's deck is mostly unchanged in the reboot. There are a couple of additions to it, but otherwise it remains mostly unchanged. Anything beyond that is spoilers. Daniel J1495 also asks, can Alexander bring back people from the Shadow Realm like Ravano can?
To a certain point, yes.
Generally speaking, the way they do it is a little different.
It's usually those who have fallen to the elementals themselves. So if you lose to an elemental for the Shadow games, it cannot bring anyone that's from previous before that. So anyone that's loses to a minion can be brought back.
Think of it like this. Ravano is physically putting the soul back into its original body, while Shadow Mirror is puppeteering it around more.
Yep.
Daniel J1495 also asks, will we see a rematch between Ravano and Tom in Armageddon? We don't currently have any plans for something like that, at least not yet, but if we do, it's going to be heavy spoilers.
Yes. I will say this, it will definitely not be in Season 1.
User Phoenix125 asks, ever heard of number 10 Dark Illuminite? Yes, I'm very familiar with most of the anime cards that came out up until Arc 5.
Yes, I already know the card, but I did forget that there was definitely a difference within the anime with the real life card.
Right, the anime version is actually good.
Oh, not only that, it's a dark type.
Oh, yeah.
Chase Hubbard asks, for Armageddon question, what would you say has been your favorite thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Armageddon so far? Getting off the ground for F's sake. My god, it took us almost a decade.
Yeah, it's legit. He was workshopping it for the longest time. Obviously, there had to be a lot of changes because April stopped being a part of the Excalibur Dimension, which affected a lot of things because the mask was also kind of playing into the plot of Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first major rewrite, I believe.
Obviously, the latest episode is one of my favorites, with it being the eccentric. I will also have the duel with Sean and Tom, or with Sean and Tom as tag team, would also is another good banger. Kendrick versus the eccentric duels. I had so much fun playing that body language and all that, and writing that script.
Any duels in the reboot you hope are as good as the originals? Well, in my personal opinion, all the duels in the reboot are gonna be better than the originals. But as two standouts, the Tom versus Prez duels, and then Tom versus Ravano at the end of the season. I really enjoy what I did for them in the reboot. Jace Hubbard also asks, besides Yu-Gi-Oh, do you have any other trading card games you like to play?
Oh, most definitely. I play Magic the Gathering. I got into Vanguard for a little bit, and now I'm into Illustrals. I'm actually pretty high in that.
Well, I don't really play much other. I know how to play the Pokemon trading card game. I learned Magic, And then Sean here is also showing me the
Illustrals.
Illustrals, yes.
He's learning from one of the top players, which I do not consider myself actually on rank.
How long till the Illustrals live action series, huh?
I don't know. I mean, I've been thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie. I just want to iron out what I want to do for main plot.
Isward Azure 716 asks, are we going to see a numbers-focused storyline? Is there going to be anyone playing heroes? To answer the first question, no, not really. That's a plot thread that I never really expand upon the original, so I figure I might as well just drop that entirely. I really did not use it because it got like so mixed up in the shuffle. I never ended up doing anything with it.
Yes.
So I figured it's better to just toss that out entirely because I'm still not doing anything with that. It'd be a little contrived at this point to try and shoehorn it in. To answer the second question, the answer is also no, because you gotta understand, when I started doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Live Action, a lot of series had characters that used heroes, so that's something I intentionally out of my way to avoid doing, and that's still very much the case now, even if heroes are a lot less prevalent than they were back then. Besides, it ties into the whole thing about me ideally not using a whole lot of archetypes that were used by main characters of the anime, minus the obvious exceptions. Wilfredo Cypher 9507 asks, will the core focus of the rebooted Project games have you playing all the Utopian and Egyptian god support instead of gimmick cards used just because why not? Alright, so a little background. The Egyptian cards were a thing I've always wanted to have in Project games. The whole numbers plot is a thing I came up with, and like again, I kind of did nothing with that, so not really a point in trying to like revive that, especially considering I did nothing with it originally. It was very much not helped by the fact that as soon as episode 2 synchros a fusion deck, you know?
Yeah.
The other thing too, it's like Tom's deck is the way it is because it's meant to embody the spirit of Toolbox.
Toolbox is a archetype where you go for utility of what the card needs to be done, and you usually search for it.
It's not even an archetype, it's like a whole...
Well, no, yeah, it's not an archetype.
It's like the good stuff,
Yeah.
basically. And because of that, it gives Tom a lot more, like, deck building possibilities that you wouldn't normally have being stuck to just one archetype or even a few archetypes. That and doing it that way makes it feel more true to the original Duel Monsters, at least in my opinion. Wilfredo Cypher 9507 also asks, with White Dragon Legacy replacing the Mask as the new Excalibur Dimension spin-off, wouldn't it be jarring should you ever try playing the Blue Eyes cards from here on because their independent lore is already firmly established throughout Kasara's journey in her show? So the thing about that, a lot of people may remember, Tom having a copy of Blue Eyes has been a thing long before White Dragon Legacy was even a thing. And the thing about, you know, Tom's copy of Blue Eyes in particular, it's one of the original copies of Blue Eyes that, like, Kaiba had. So it's unique in that way.
We also don't know about Kasara's Blue Eyes yet. There may be some very hidden lore behind that.
That, and, you know, aside from every, you know, Blue Eyes card you have already seen him use between Project games and Armagddeon, that's basically all he's ever going to use of the Blue Eyes archetype. So in that sense, I'm hopefully not stepping on Kasaro's toes too much.
No, it's gonna come to collect.
Oh no. Maybe I'll have him use the Twin Blue Eyes fusion at some point, but otherwise, every Blue Eyes card that he has played is all he's ever going to use. Wilfredo Cypher 9507 also asks, have you known two young ladies named Kokana and Kona from the Hatsu group? You know, I was debating on including this question. I have no idea who those two are or what that group is, and you're confusing me, mate. Like, I have zero clue who they are. They're not, like, live-action people, I don't think.
No, I have no idea. No clue.
Keep in mind, that question was asked a long time ago. Still have no idea who they are. James Bridge 6501 asks, favorite duel in the anime?
My favorite duel is Shea Obsidian or Shone versus Sora, the first one.
Which anime was that one?
That was Arc 5.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I haven't given that question much thought. I'd say that one of my favorite duels is when Jaden duels Darkness. near the end of GX.
I unfortunately have not watched season 4 yet, and I'm a huge GX fan. I am terrible.
I haven't watched season 4 either. I've only ever seen like the duels from it.
Yeah, I have. No, I've seen the duels for it too. I've seen clips. I've gone through.
Deuce and Cookie Wolf 3024 asks, Armageddon question. Were there any ideas when you first announced Armageddon years ago that are now not possible to pull off due to how things have changed in life and in the community as a whole?
Yes, with actors coming and going, and well, locations no longer being apart or available, of course, the series has changed completely. That was because one of the actors we had a falling out with, another actor passed away, and that was the biggest blow, to the point where I was questioning of even doing the series to begin with, because how attached I was to that person. He was young. He was 14. Unfortunately, things happen. But Armageddon's off. We're in a new series. We got building blocks from Project Games with the reboot.
Another part of the reason, the reboot's happening to begin with, to help build up the stuff that's going to happen in Armageddon.
Because obviously those two are a little connected right after another.
Even though they chronologically take place at two very far points apart in the timeline.
Yes, they do.
Given how there are some characters that won't return in the reboot, are there any of those characters that's going to make a comeback, like the Blue Eyes Xyz hybrid or Toughies and Zectors? So as far as things stand right now, the only character that's been completely flat out removed is April's character. Otherwise, Inzectors are still going to be played, and Ethan's character is still going to be in the show. They're just going to be played by a different person. As for DJ, I'm kind of unsure what to do about his deck, considering that, with White Dragon Legacy being a thing, I don't want to, step on, Kasara's toes too much with, two people with similar decks running around. Ravano and Wayne also kind of had that problem in the beginning, but we'll see how we can iron that one out. Schmirko asks, which equipment do you use to film and what editing software do you use? Well, the camera I am using now and what's filming this is a, what was it called?
Oh, it's a Canon. It's a Canon PowerShot SX530 for shooting.
Yes.
We were using that for our previous episodes as well, with my personal camera. That's what I use as well.
Yeah, when we got these questions initially, I didn't have this camera we're using right now, so that's a little bit of a change of an answer.
Yes.
In terms of editing software, though, I use Vegas 15 for most of my editing, and then I use GIMP for image editing and stuff.
And I use DaVinci Resolve.
Schmirko also asks, when was the first time you thought about starting Yu-Gi-Oh! Live action content? Well, it was actually around the time I started getting into the game to begin with. When I had started learning the game, I was looking up Yu-Gi-Oh! Live action and real life stuff, and I saw some of the stuff that was being made, hey, I want to do that too. The rest is history.
Yep. When did I start thinking of the series? Well, obviously when I was working on Excalibur, that question popped up with Prez if I was going to do my own series or if I wanted to do my own series. And I thought on it, and Armageddon was seated back then, that far back, from God, I can't remember what episode he asked me around, but it was early, I think it was episode between 18 and 19 where we were in the town.
And to put in perspective, Armageddon has been workshopped since even before April joined the group.
Oh yeah.
Schmirko also asks, do you have any inspirations for your shows? Well, obviously I was inspired by Excalibur, but also shows like Card Heroes and the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Real Life series were big inspirations.
As for me, Tyler Teffer is probably my biggest inspiration when it comes to writing. I enjoy it. I love Revelations to death.
Yeah, Revelations is goated.
Yeah, it is definitely goated. White Dragon Legacy's shots, how they do things, how things flow, has been caught my eye. So Mike has been becoming an inspiration.
Oh yeah, he's become recently an inspiration for me too, because I've always wanted to try and capture the feel of the anime. I feel Mike does that pretty well.
He does it the best out of our group.
And I can only hope to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah. And then obviously the last one is Prez motherfucking Komori. He's the one who got me into this and inspired me to join in the first place.
What's so funny about Ubus Among Us asks, with so many changes to the Excalibur dimension, can you say what is and what isn't canon anymore? Alright, sure. Here's a rundown. Excalibur, canon. The original run of Project Games, not canon. White Dragon Legacy, canon. The Mask, not canon. The Card Heroes reboot, canon. That's gotta be a surprise for some people, probably.
Yes.
Bug Warriors, that's a deep cut, not canon. The Project Games reboot and Armageddon, canon. Yu-Gi-Oh! L, another deep cut, not canon. And Logan misses chance to make it canon. As for the future, as long as Prez, Sean, or I approve of it, it is canon. If Tom and Ravana were to play more modern decks, which ones would you give them? Well, Ravana would obviously be playing more modern Red Eyes. But for Tom, the answer is a lot more complicated, considering his deck is like Toolbox, the deck. But if I had to pick something, probably something that leans a lot heavier into Xyz summoning. What's so funny about Ubis Among Us also asks, Armageddon question, how many episodes and or seasons can we expect from Armageddon? Are any movies or miniseries like Mechanical Mayhem planned?
I don't know how long I want to go with Armageddon, but I'm shooting for 16 per season and at least 2 at minimum. If I want to push out the series more, there will be 3. As for specials, oh yeah, I've got specials. I want to do a Halloween special. Because we already have one special that's considered, or I consider a special, which is Null. We're doing backstories of certain characters, and obviously Null was backstory of Kendrick.
Cyber's Duelist 35 asks, since the original Project games took place in the Zexal era, can we expect more modern decks and summoning mechanics like Pendulum and Link summoning in the reboot? I already answered this in the announcement video, but no, there will be no Pendulum or Link summoning in Project games whatsoever. To the point where they will not even be mentioned in the show. That said, newer archetypes being in the show aren't completely out of the realm of possibility, but they would need to fulfill 2 different conditions. They would both have to, 1, not use either Pendulum or Link summoning as a core part of their strategy, and 2, they would generally have to be, like, not so far above the power level of all the other decks, so that, you know, it fits in the general like power level of the rest of the show. A general rule of thumb that I follow is that if it was meta from the Arc 5 era onward, I'm not going to include it. That said, existing decks will 100% be updated to include their newer stuff, even if said stuff came out as recently as a couple of months ago. Cyber's Duelist 35 also asks, since Tom appears to be a major character in Armageddon, can we expect cameos from other Project Games characters? The most I can say is that at least a few other characters may appear in Armageddon, but to what capacity and which ones is going to be heavy spoilers.
We've already seen Gene.
The Gravekeeper Duelist guy, I bet you didn't know that was his name.
Yep, that's his name. We have Gene, and I do have plans for more. We just haven't set him up in stone quite yet.
Yes, even now as we're recording this, we have not set in stone any other Project Games character cameos. Mostly because it's going to be dictated by what I can get done with the reboot by the time that comes around. Cyber Duelist 35 also asks, favorite soundtrack do you like to use when adding music to your series?
Well, for all those who watch my series, I have a rock and metal taste. I don't think I really have a favorite yet, since I haven't really reused any of the music in Armageddon. I usually look for new stuff.
For me, honestly, I just kind of add anything that sounds cool. Though, if we're talking like soundtracks, I utilize the 5D soundtrack a lot in my show. And utilizing the 5D soundtrack is nice because it's so varied in its styles.
Like,
it's like really good for just, you know, a general soundtrack.
There is a soundtrack I do use. If you notice, I do use the there's always something from Spirit Caller, the video game for Yu-Gi-Oh. Because fun fact, that's my favorite one. That was my first one I ever got.
Right.
And I'm actually replaying it as we speak.
Oh, nice. The 25 Omega asks, will there be customs in Project Games / Armageddon? Anime only cards and erratas to existing cards? Yes.
Direct customs from our noggin? No. I don't think we can balance out cards well enough as a team.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to pride myself on like knowing problem-solving card text, balancing is a whole other issue.
Yes. And it has not been any of our styles to begin with.
Anthony LeBron 1977 asks, how's Prez?
Pretty good.
He's fine. He plays competitive Magic the Gathering now.
Yep.
He's doing pretty well with that.
Pretty damn well with that. Makes the soul teacher proud.
He also asks, who's the masked duelist Tom faced in episode Null?
Kendrick. By now, the episode should have come out for Armagddeon to learn more about him. And episode, what was it, 4? Yeah, I don't even remember how many episodes I'm on currently.
4.
I'm on 4. I wouldn't say it's a banger, but it definitely has a lot of wardrobe to it. Yes, the duel is a little short, and there is an error that someone picked up. If you find that error, there's a little secret behind that and why there's an error. Because let's just say, some mistakes are mistakes.
Lazy Bum Dude asks, if you had the ability to do a crossover with any other live-action series, who would you like to work with and why?
We all know I want to work with Howard Clifford.
Oh yeah, like Revelations.
Revelations. Millennium Paradox is another close second that I really want to work with. But unfortunately, that's going to probably never happen.
As for me, I'd like to work with Seth on a Card Heroes crossover again. The other one is White Dragon Legacy, though, you know, especially right now, trying to make that happen is a little bit funky. We would need to workshop a reason why these characters would bump into each other, and we're not quite at the point where we want to like think about that just yet.
But that's also within, or that's why I didn't say White Dragon Legacy, because I didn't want to say anything else.
Well, I mean, I'm expressing interest, but that doesn't mean anything's gonna come of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
like I said, that one is a more, I would say, a more definite at some point. It's just
basically
distance is the biggest one.
Yeah, distance, which I mean, eventually we could solve, but then also like the semantics of making such a crossover happen. Like, at what point would both Tom and or Sean be there in the vicinity of like Kasara and the Dragon Hunters or whatever antagonist they might do after the Dragon Hunters, which I'm not clear on if they're doing anything after that, but
I cannot say. I know quite a bit of details, and I am kept secret under an NDA.
You can't even tell me.
Nope. I'm not telling anyone. I keep my mouth shut. I promised Mike. There's some secrets I cannot even say.
Of course, if they pertain to me, Sean will obviously tell me.
Yeah.
So
Mike will probably come to you directly.
That's also true.
But yes, there's, like I said, that's why I said it's definitely not out there like it is. We've talked about it, but getting it set up is the issue.
Hellfire Productions asks, so for project games, Pendulums and Links are off the table, but what about decks from those eras that don't use or rely on them? Is there a chance that they could still make an appearance in the series? Super Heavy Samurai, Vision Hero, Phantom Knights, Megalith, and so on. So I already kind of answered for some of those. Basically, if a main character ran the deck in the show, I'm not using it. Because it's like, we've already seen what they can do. I don't need to shoehorn the deck in, basically. He also asks, if either of you could create your own archetype for the game, what would they be based on? What would their strategy be like? I really don't know.
I've been formulating a deck like mostly. We all know I love zombies. It's my playstyle. I love the undead reanimation, so a zombie deck that recycles itself would be something I would create and make that an archetype, which would be a chaos themed one, which I have done.
Yeah,
that's not going to see the light of day. That's going to be shut away for the rest of its life. We don't talk about it.
I've definitely made custom archetypes before, but like, they're either based on media or just existing archetypes, but remixed. I don't think I'm ever going to answer this question, unfortunately. He also asks, what are your thoughts on the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga series? I just finished up the first 7 volumes just before the Duelist Kingdom arc, and I've been really enjoying it so far.
I have read bits and pieces of the original season 01.
I think I've seen or read a single volume or 2 of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga. When it comes to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Mangas, the one I've read the most of, and mind you, this is not a lot, it's the GX manga.
That was easier to access for the most part, and I read all that. I read all that actually during school.
Yeah, it was my, what was it, high school, middle school that had it?
I lived in a little bigger town where the library where I actually was able to get access to the original mangas, and I love them. I love the original manga.
And I mean, obviously, we wouldn't have Excalibur if it weren't for Yu-Gi-Oh! R.
Yes, Yu-Gi-Oh! R was the biggest inspiration for Perez.
Shuriko Kaminari 1990 asks, will the gods be the main focus of the whole series? Yes, the Egyptian God cards will be the MacGuffins of the entirety of what I have planned for Project Games. DanMad297 asks, favorite Marvel movie and TV show?
Not much of a movie or show kind of person, but I did watch the What If, and I really enjoyed that.
In terms of TV shows, from within the MCU, What If? Outside of it, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. 314 Walker asks, what happened to April, both in real life and in the series? Well, for starters, she's transitioned to April, hence why I said that instead of the name you did say. But to answer your question, a long time back, Konami did something that really upset her. So in response, she discontinued her live-action series. Since then, her and I have touched base a few times. In series, though, the mask is no longer canon, so April's not really in the series anymore, sorry to say.
Alright, Despian Grim Paladea asks, PG question 1. When it comes to making a reboot of Project Games, which of the supporting characters or antagonists were the most fun to rework in terms of decks and strategies?
I'd say in terms of, like, portrayal, probably, like, Jericho and Stryker, the Dirac and the Gladiator Beast guys.
And we heard that we're getting Dirac support.
Yes! That was the best news ever. I've been begging for that for a literal decade.
Yes. We've been ever since, like, every time I'm up here, he's like, where's my Dirac support?
It's here! In terms of decks, Wayne was the one I was looking most forward to reworking because Ravano and Wayne's decks had a bit of a problem near the beginning of the show's life where they were kind of similar in a lot of areas. They ran a lot of similar cards. But now we're at the point where they can run two very distinctly different strategies, which is very nice.
Second question. In terms of boss monsters, Utopia and Beyond was quite the build-up in the OG series. Though I gotta ask, if you'll be using more or lesser underused Utopia monsters such as Roots and Double, etc. before time gets Beyond.
The simple answer, no, not really. I don't really plan on utilizing a lot of the other Utopia forms. Tom may end up using Lightning at some point, but not within Project Games.
Question 3. Since we know the events of Season 2 roughly take place close to and after Armageddon 2 and 4, we'll be seeing at least one case of pendulum summoning in Project Games. Honestly, I feel like this answer is going to be a no, but there isn't a harm in asking the question. You're correct. The answer is no.
Also, the timeline's a bit wrong here.
It is very wrong.
So, I don't know if I've said this. I don't think it's a spoiler to say this. I plan on having That's not
3 seasons.
3 seasons, and then after the events of those, some indeterminate amount of time passes, and then Armageddon happens.
Armageddon is last in timeline.
Yes, Armageddon is the last thing to happen in the Excalibur Dimension timeline. So anything I do, beyond Season 3, if I even come up with plans for that, it's going to be squeezed between the end of Season 3 and before Armageddon.
Armageddon question 1. So we know that Yuri, Sean's Darker half from Excalibur, took an alias of Shadowmere when he joined up with the Phantoms. I'm curious on the question, why would he assume an alias of Shadowmere specifically? To fuck with Sean. Yuri is a little bit of jackass. It was literally to mess with Sean's head, and that was the perfect target because that was Sean's first major villain. Question 2. With Sean using a zombie deck mixed with the Secret Beast, there's 2 thoughts that come to my mind. First of all, will Sean lose the Secret Beast he's not bonded to via them bonded with other duelists, antagonists, or otherwise? Secondly, if Sean continues to use Secret Beast, will we see him use more of the Secret Beast support or just more zombie support with the Secret Beast being the last resort type of deal, or will it be a mixture of both zombie support and Secret Beast support? Yes. With the loss of the Secret Beasts that aren't bonded, this is a tough question to answer without spoilers, but he has lost them before. However, he also made his resolve even more pointed, keeping them safe. That's all I'm going to say. As for the deck, we will not be seeing the Secret Beast support. It will be another deck change for Sean, which is kind of getting old. We'll be ironing out more of his actual deck very soon. This upcoming episode, that's why he's ironing out his deck. As for why he uses the Secret Beast, they're mostly for last-ditch efforts, since Amon and Raphael still have a bad habit of absorbing dual energy and spirits. And we'll be seeing Uriah sooner or later. Spooky Electronics Yu-Gi-Oh! Asks, to both Sean and Tom, which part of the editing process is the most tedious to you? Card rendering. Pendulum summoning was a bitch! We will not be seeing much of pendulum summoning until I can actually iron out more of what I want to do with the effects.
As for me, the specific part of editing that's the most tedious, probably when there's like multiple different effects going on. You've probably seen a little bit in episode
No.
where like I would reuse a lot of particular effects because I didn't want to like completely redo them every time. Like the specific effect in Null where I have like stat changes going on, that effect's a little bit annoying because I have to manually like keyframe that every time, because obviously the same thing is not going to work on every like individual image because of where they're positioned and all that. But in the more general sense, probably making all the art that I'm going to be using for the editing, even though it's like I'm doing basically all the art for it now instead of like commissioning other people to do it now that I'm more confident in my art capabilities. It's still a long, tedious process though.
His second question is, what is our favorite album? I don't know on top of my head.
It's a good question. Like, I listen to a lot of different bands and obviously a lot of different their albums. I guess my way to answer this question, think of any remotely popular metal, punk, emo band from like the early 2000s. I've probably listened to that and enjoyed it.
Park. Hybrid Theory, such a good banger.
Like, ever since, like, Bring Me to Life, that's a
Bring Me to Life, yeah. But yeah, I don't think I have a favorite. Oh, I do have one. The Silver Scream 1 and 2. Like, those are technically two different albums, but I can't pick between them. But at the time I was listening to like quite a bit. So that's one of them. Like, I also don't like picking favorites a lot.
You can tell neither Sean and I really consume music in that way.
Yeah, exactly. We don't go by album, we go by song.
Yeah.
Unless I really like an artist, I usually listen to the entire album. Like I said, that's why I saw Silver Scream 1 and 2 from Ice Nine Kills. They're both bangers. But I'm also a huge horror fan, so. Third question. How are we? Tired.
Very tired.
For you who don't know, recording this, I got here after work, so I have not slept. I am running on 0 hours of sleep.
In terms of like how we're just doing in general, I'd say we're
No,
doing it right.
We're pretty fine in general.
Yeah. Since the last time we tried this, I got a job that's paying really well, which is nice.
Yep.
I don't want to go too deep into it because
we don't want to go too much into life details, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. WDinATX asks, when did you realize that this series would have grown as much as it did, and how did you react? Does that make sense? I hope makes sense. Honestly, I don't think I ever expected Project Games to get as big as it did. I imagine Armageddon was similar.
Armageddon, I had high hopes for, just because I want to say it. Clearly I'm riding the coattails of Tom Prez.
and then at the same time, I'm kind of riding the coattails of Prez. But he's cool with it. We're friends.
I didn't expect it to be as big as it's going as it is now. Like, I didn't expect the speed. I knew it was going to pick up traction at some point, but not at the speed it's going currently.
Yeah, then of course, I don't want to say it's around the corner, but when the reboot does come out, that's obviously going to bring a lot more traction.
Right.
That's going to be fun. I might actually be able to monetize my channel again, which will be nice.
Monetize your channel? I'm not even supposed. I don't have that yet.
See, I had monetization applied, but then it's been so long since I got a significant amount of ad revenue, so they just kind of took me out of it. So I need to reapply for it again, which hopefully I can start doing now that. Now it's not that big of a deal. I have a job that makes me good money now, but like. It would be nice to have.
Nice money on the side. And obviously I don't reach the requirements. I'm still about, as recording 50 subs from 500, I am small. I am very small.
Go subscribe to him, by the way.
I am doing a lot of other content currently in the meantime, in between Armageddon.
He's a VTuber, don't you know?
Yeah, that's, well, yes. I don't stream anymore, unfortunately. I used to. I might get back into it at some point, but with the move, with the life changes, I just don't have the time.
Blue Eyes Bob asks, 3 questions for Tom. 1. How did you like voicing Morton in Revelations Dual Arena Fractured Destiny? Honestly, I love that they gave him the opportunity to do that. It was also kind of nice because, like, Seth voiced one of the other characters, so it was kind of like a spiritual successor to the Tom vs. Sly duel in that sense. It's kind of funny how, like, Morton vaguely resembles Tom slightly if you squint enough. Where Duel Arena is right now, Rhett Morton and Hikari's friends, because
I don't think they survived.
I don't think they survived.
I don't think they survived.
I love Morton, man. He was cool.
Bring back Morton, hashtag revive.
Justice for Morton.
Eyes for Bob also asks, how did you get Morton to have some of your cards in your deck from Project Games?
So what happened was, the guy who plays Dimitri, when he reached out to me to play the role, he also asked me which of Tom's cards that I would like to see included, because he hadn't written the duel yet at that point. I mentioned Utopia, Crimson Blader, Power Breaker as 3 notable ones, since it was like supposed to be a warrior-focused deck. He said, okay, I can't include Utopia because obviously, you know, anyone who isn't Valthor's Forces can't use Xyz summoning, at least not yet. I don't know if, like, what's the name of the Cyber Dragon guy?
Oh, God.
My first thought was Cyrus was like, that's not right. Syphilis, that's not right either. Whatever his name is, I don't know if they plan to like have like, I don't know, that guy using the Cyber Dragon Xyz at some point to like show
Sebastian.
Sebastian, yeah. I don't know if they like plan to have Sebastian using the Cyber Dragon Xyz support. Anyway, I'm tangenting. The point is, it's like I told him what cards I'd like to see. He added what he could, and that's how that came about.
Eyes for Bob also asks, will Ravano come back in Project Games?
Ravana obviously will come back in the reboot because, you know, he's the main antagonist of Season 1. Anything beyond that, I'm not really at liberty to say because I feel like it would be spoiling. I will say, though, the ending scene of the original Project Games Season 1, you'll want to reference that. That's all I'm going to say.
Chanman5851 asks, how do you both? Been a fan of all your work for years. Glad to see you're all okay and wanted to say thank you for your dedication to this card game. It means a lot. Keep up the good work. But my question, what are your favorite foods and drinks?
I like pizza. I drink brisk iced tea. Lots of different flavors.
I love chicken. Like, anything chicken. I just love chicken.
Anytime I get, like, Domino's or whatever when he's here, he's like...
Chicken wings!
Give me the wings!
The wings! As for the drink, I'm more of a Powerade guy. That's what I've been drinking most of. But in reality, I've been mostly water.
Chanman also asks, what inspired you both to get into the world of Yu-Gi-Oh? Thank you, enjoy the rest of your day.
I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh since it came out to America. That's how old I am, and unfortunately, I don't want to break any hearts, but I'm in the same boat as Prez, where I'm mostly retired. I just don't like how the game started going when Lynx came out, how they were introduced, left a bad taste in my mouth. Do I hate the game? No. Will I continue to invest into it? Not as heavily as I used to be. But yeah, I've been playing since the beginning, and I'm just, unfortunately...
what I think he's asking is, what was the circumstances in which you got introduced to the game?
I got introduced because of the show.
Yeah, that's fair.
The show, and then having a younger brother with me, we both thought it was cool. We both got Kaiba structure decks.
As for me, my story is a little bit different. So back in middle school, there was this strategy game club, something like that. It was something that I wanted to do because, like, up until that point, I hadn't really done any club stuff. I had come into that looking to play D&D, but one of the times we were there, we weren't able to really play D&D that day. I look over to my side and see 2 of the other kids at another table playing a card game. I investigate, and that it is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. The 2 kids notice I'm obviously interested in what they're doing, so the one kid sits me down at where he was and, like, introduces me to the game, walks me through how to play it. It's funny because the other kid was complaining the whole damn time about losing.
Why am I losing?
Oh, my mouse was destroyed by man-eater bug. Oh, joy. But then after that, you know, obviously, hyperfixations, autism. I was hooked. So I was like looking into any Yu-Gi-Oh! Related material I could find. It was also extremely good timing that around this time Nickelodeon started airing the original Yu-Gi-Oh! And Zexal at the same time. That was like divine intervention levels of like circumstance. It was also around then I discovered like Dueling Network. Yeah, Dueling Network was the original.
Dueling Network, Medion, the YouTubes.
Yeah, it's how I like came across Yu-Gi-Oh! Excalibur and the other live action series is.
Yeah, I was here from the start.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, I was introduced to the game during the Zexal era. I fell off hard after Vrains, though, because it was like, I wasn't really interested in the anime. I really didn't like Lynx.
I have no problems with Lynx now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's like, they're fine as a game
just,
mechanic,
yeah.
I just don't like using them.
Then how they were introduced was how I felt.
Like, it was great that they nerfed pendulums, but not so great that you basically had to play Lynx in order to play really any deck for a while.
Obviously, people worked around it, don't get me wrong. It's just, it felt bad taste for me. And obviously the game has changed. Master Rule 5 thing, God, we came out of that.
Kind of a, this game sucks now, here's why tangent attached to that question, but yeah, that's the story how we both got into Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. Kasunaro Hasu 9224 asks, will you and Sean be using custom cards and anime cards in Project Games on Armagddeon?
Anime cards, yes, whenever applicable. Custom cards, no. The most we will do for that is custom erratas for existing cards, which we've already kind of seen with, like, Necro Valley, Utopia Beyond, obviously Cards of Sanctity.
They also ask, is there any possibility that Tom encounters with the other god cards in Project Games?
I mean, it should go without saying at this point, but the answer is basically yes. Tom obviously obtains Obelisk. Slifer and Ra will appear in the show at some point. I can't really say when, because Slifer's initial appearance kind of got changed around in the reboot. That's all I'll say about that.
They also ask, will there be variants of the Dark Elementals that we will see in Armageddon?
Yes. Keyword, elementals. They don't have to be dark. That's all I'm going to say.
Was the guy in episode 4 a Dark Elemental? I forget.
They've all been dark elementals.
Okay, I just
it
sounds stupid, but...
Yes. All of them have been dark elementals so far, but there have been... Obviously, the personalities have been different.
Yeah, because like there was like the Jinzo guys and
the machine one that was Jinzo, which took a lot of inspiration from Bandit Keith.
Yeah, there was like the Jinzo one, episode 1. Gene.
Gene was in episode 2, which we saw was the first one that was a human who became a dark elemental, and then the fourth one we'll probably explore more on their backstory later on because we had so much fun with that one. That's probably like the best elemental in my book was the eccentric actor.
Yeah, it was kind of fun, like you doing the body acting and me doing the voice for that.
Yeah.
It was,
fun fact, that's how it was done. I did all the body language, he did the voiceover work.
He was originally going to do the voiceover work too, but he figured, okay, I already kind of came up with a way he was going to sound. Sean liked it enough to where it's like, okay, you might as well just play the character, you know?
Yeah. So without wearing the costume, because that costume is disgusting.
The last one, not really a question, just wanted to wish you two a good day, Tom and Sean.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, so in addition to the YouTube comments of the announcement video, we also got some questions from other places. We also got some on Sean's channel, and then last minute, I asked the Yu-Gi-Oh! Live Action Discord for some additional questions, and we'll be answering a couple of those as well. Zajos X05 asks, what are both of your favorite IRL series? I assume he's talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Live Action.
Yes.
I could list off a few that I like.
I've already stated that I love Revelations and Million Player Docs over my top 2. And then my Dragon Legacy is being another really massive one. I don't think there's any bad at all.
There are a few awkward moments in there, but the series as a whole is pretty solid. What's another one? Oh yeah, Devolution Classic.
The Evolution Classic. But like I said, I don't know, my favorite would probably be, again, Revelations, because that's one. Revelations Excalibur. Excalibur definitely, like I said, I can't have favoritism with Excalibur for obvious reasons.
I can though.
Yeah, you can. I was a part of Excalibur. Clearly, that's why it has to be my favorite, right? I love Excalibur. Don't get me wrong. Excalibur, it was a huge part of my life. But like I said, I would pick Excalibur hands down. But if I couldn't pick Excalibur, that's obviously Revelations.
Yeah, there's like, you know, Revelations, Card Hero, the original run of Yu-Gi-Oh! Real Life. I didn't much care for what they did after Duel Links came out, but that's besides the point. De-Evolution.
We're thinking older ones, not the new. You guys, new generations, we appreciate you a lot. Dragon Wars is.
And even though it's not a real life series, I still feel like I want to say Duel Arena as one of my favorites. I feel like that's an honorary one. Even if it's not technically live action, it's connected to a live action series. So I'm gonna count it for this instance. Also, like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Real life movies, the ones by What is it like? Are they German or?
Spherical?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, Hungarian.
He's connect.
I believe it's
Hungarian. Yeah. The stuff that like Schmirko's involved with as well.
Yeah, Spherical is such a Chad.
Oh yeah, 100%. I actually watched his Q&A video as inspiration for how to do this one. Any series that came out back around when I started, I like a lot.
Yeah. I'm liking the new ones too. New ones have been...
Yeah, a lot of the new ones have been pretty good. Can't really include the gotcha ones in this because they're very strictly not live action.
But the gotcha ones are still good.
Yeah, they're still good.
Like, they're doing mixtures between both gotcha and live action.
Right. What was the name of the one that was like doing a mix of both again?
Duels of Despair.
Duels of Despair. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, that was pretty alright.
That one's pretty good. I love that. That storyline is... The reboot was really good. And the fact that we're friends with a lot of these guys, yourself included, because I tabletop with you.
Another one by WDinATX. What's your biggest regret surrounding the show? This was originally directed at me, but we're also gonna go like for Sean's answer as well.
Experimentation is a thing. I was definitely learning how to edit. Like the first episode, if I can remake it, I would. I could probably fix the audio a lot better. And that one, now I know the techniques, and I'm still learning, but I don't think I have much regrets.
As for me, I'd say my regret is taking so long to make this.
My regret is, yeah, that's the same. I can feel that.
Because, like, you know, honestly, life's getting in the way, but, like, sometimes I feel like if I had just locked in, we would have already had all the seasons I originally had planned by now, and I wouldn't have needed to make a reboot, but it's whatever. I guess another kind of side regret is that April wasn't able to stick around for the whole thing.
And then my regret was the biggest regret that everyone talks about. The heel turn for Sean in Excalibur, that was my biggest fucking mistake. Oh my god. I was rewatching GX at the time, and I had a huge Dark Zane love. Hence why I did the heel turn.
Maybe, like, narrow down the question a bit if they're referring to, like, specific plot lines. You've already mentioned yours.
Yep.
The numbers thing I never did anything with.
It went nowhere.
Like,
We can't count, guys. It's okay.
I don't necessarily regret it, but it's like, I kind of regret doing nothing with it. I don't plan on doing anything with it, which is funny, but like, I'm kind of like beating myself over the head. Like, why did I even include that? I was watching Zaxel at the time, that's why. But why did I include that? Deuce and Cookie asks, what is the duel you were looking forward to working on the most in the reboot? I kind of already mentioned that. Like, honestly, all the duels I'm pretty hyped to work on, but the Tom and Prez related duels, and then also Tom versus Ravano, I am really looking forward to working on those. It does remind me, though, I'm going to need to try and coordinate with Prez on a time he can come down here to film a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be a toughie. As for me, duels I'm looking forward to?
For, like, the Project Games reboot?
No, for Armageddon.
Well, they said the reboot.
I know the reboot, but let's go with Armageddon.
Alright,
let's give a spoiler. So, I talked with Tom for the season finale. That one's going to be a banger.
Oh, yeah. Can't say anything about it, though, but, you know, I know about it. We've talked to each other about it. It does involve both of us, so that's all I can really say about it, but I think people are going to love it, honestly.
All I'm going to do is that. That's all I'm going to give you.
Despian Caneth asks, what's your personal favorite moment from the old Project games that you'd like to see reimagined? Definitely the duels, but if we're counting moments outside of that, probably all the stuff related to Obelisk and Tom's relationship kind of forming. In the original, it's kind of weird, because one, you can barely hear things in that episode. I was really bad at audio balancing back then. But also, didn't really get into the nitty-gritty about how their symbiotic relationship worked.
I actually have an answer for this too. I'm looking forward to the new character you want to introduce.
Oh yeah, that's true. All I will say about that to the audience is that with April having left the show, I needed to fill that role with a new character, and Sean is helping me work on that character. That's all I'll really say about that. Despian Caneth also asked, what crossover special, even if not canon, would you like to do on either Project Games or Armageddon? This question doesn't have to just mean Yu-Gi-Oh! Series is canon or fan-made. It means any series you'd want to do a crossover special with, taking on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Formula for just a special. A very broad strokes question. We'll go broad and kind of go into more specific. If I were to cross over with any kind of media for Yu-Gi-Oh! Project games, I'd maybe want to do Sonic the Hedgehog. But that's just because Sonic is a hyperfixation right now because of the Sonic XL Generations thing coming out. But if we were to narrow the question down a little bit, if I wanted to cross over with any Yu-Gi-Oh! Media in general, probably Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And, you know, we both obviously mentioned to death the other live-action series
God, we
crossovers.
need crossovers.
I guess, like, way out there, I kind of want to do something with Duel Arena. Maybe, if that's even... If
That would be
feasible.
interesting. Like, I would say it would have to be like the OG Duel Arena before they started doing the Fractured Destiny.
Revelations as a whole is another thing I wanted to do something with. Technically, we've already had talks about that. For right now, nothing is confirmed. But that is something that I've at least explored a little bit at some point.
The next question, also asked by WDinATX. Is there a card or archetype you wanted to put in the series but for one reason or another felt you couldn't? If so, then what and why?
I feel if I would answer that, it would cause a lot of spoilers.
So obviously, April and I are still friends, right? There was a period of time though where they would call dibs on some things. A lot of it I didn't have a problem with. There were maybe a couple cards in there I maybe wanted to use myself at some point, but couldn't and probably still won't because of the mask using them.
I feel that. I don't think I'll be using Heraldics.
I did have a character at one point in Season 2 who was going to be using pure Heraldics, but at this point it's I kind of, since I'm rewriting it anyway, I want to rework that. Other sets of cards I haven't really wanted to include are the Nordic gods, the Earthbound Immortals, other sets of godlike cards. One, because I already have a set in the Egyptian god cards. Adding more would just kind of overcomplicate things.
I don't think there'll be there will be no Earthbound Immortals in Armageddon.
Pretty much any set of cards that have lore attached to them that we haven't already come up with lore for, I generally feel like I wouldn't be able to use. I'm also avoiding the number 100 numbers for the April reason. I don't want to step on what April did when she was working on the mask. That, and I don't know what I would be able to come up with anyway. Because, there's no lore attached to most of the numbers anyway. I would have to come up with new lore, and there's no point. Might as well just leave them alone, because, I'd also have to shoehorn them into decks anyway.
Back in the day, they were very iconic.
Especially 101. That one was...
My favorite.
101 and 107.
101 and 107 are the top two. And then Matt Hand was another really good one.
That we're getting on a bit of a
And then,
tangent here.
okay.
Getting on a bit of a tangent here, anyway.
The final question, asked by Daniel/Danny J. In the what could have been Season 2 of Project Games before the remake, what deck of the CEO of Project Games have played in conjunction with Raw, and will you have him play a different deck in the remake?
Alright, I'm gonna have to spoil a little bit to correct some things about this question. The big bad of the whole show was never going to play Raw at any point. He's also not the CEO of Project Games. Project Games is the code name for the operation that they're doing. Not the name of the organization or whatever.
Did we ever... Yeah, we named them.
Yeah, I made sure very deliberately name drop the name of the show in the reboot at some point, I think. The other thing too, the main antagonist of the whole show wouldn't have really made an appearance as anything more than a background guy until Season 3. I've already said I was planning on doing 3 seasons and still am. He wouldn't have appeared until Season 3. I mean, he would have appeared in
He probably would have appeared as a silhouette kind of.
Yes,
a silhouette.
He wouldn't have appeared in full until Season 3.
Yeah. The character, you'll probably know a little bit about them. They'll probably talk here and there, but you're not going to see them duel. You're not going to see them interact as much. It's more of just a tease.
Right now, that guy's planned to have 3 duels that they're shown being in, one of them being a flashback, 2 of them being in the show proper. The guy is not going to be dueling much. Will I have him play a different deck than what I had originally planned? It's a little hard to say. I've been needing to workshop it a bit more recently.
And the fact that a lot of the deck, some of the style got updated.
Yeah.
So we have to update. Yeah, we have to
Like, the deck was originally made before a lot of the support of the cards it was using got released. So I've been needing to do that.
There's your guys' hint. Because, like I said, it's an archetype that it's gotten support.
Good luck figuring out what.
Yeah.
Without actually knowing. Take a wild guess. I'll help it narrow it down for you. It's nothing that's come out. The archetypes being used are stuff that is pre-Zexal. That is all I will say. Alright, on to the final question. Sean has the floor for this one.
Alrighty then. Crimson Ninja asks, I've got a question for you guys. When will you guys go for a crossover episode for Treasure Key Studios and do a tag duel against Kasara and Evelyn?
Alright, we've already kind of touched upon this a few times. We've been workshopping this for the longest time. As of right now, we just can't find a way to, like, make the semantics work.
As of right now.
As of right now. Especially since, like...
Banger duel, though.
Yeah, it would be an amazing duel to watch. We just can't figure out a way to make that duel happen that would make sense, you know? It's like, we don't want, misunderstandings or mind control to happen. It would be kind of difficult to justify them all being in a tournament and going up against each other.
And then getting everyone for that at the same time would be we would have to plan that. We have to plan a trip, or we're going to have to... It would be a lot of work. But...
Yeah, it would, even if we could figure out the how...
Honestly, I would like, maybe we could get together with Mike and write the duel, and maybe, just the duel itself.
Maybe.
It'd be fun, a little pet project.
The other thing, too, is, Sean knows some details about, the future White Dragon Legacy. I kind of don't, so it would be a lot difficult for me, personally, from that perspective, to, write anything for that, because obviously I don't know.
And even though that may change, too. I may know some false information.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
I gotta be real with that too.
Oh.
Yeah. Cause things change. But yeah, I think that's that for the questions. Thank you guys for watching, and if you've lasted this long, give us a like.
Subscribe to my channel and Sean's, or else you'll...
Nah, nothing's gonna happen. It's not the end of the world or anything. What? What's about Armageddon? Wonder why it's called that.
Surely nothing bad will happen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Armageddon. Only good things, especially for our main characters. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Yeah.
I've been Tom, Mr.A, whatever.
I am the Ass Gesture, signing off.
James Bridge 9... that's not a 9.
It's not a 9! Well, I thought we just got an extra question as we were doing this.
Oh no.
What's so funny about Ubus Among Us asks...
I'm sorry reading that. I'm sorry. What's so funny about Ubus? God damn it, man, your username's a joke in of itself. Okay. What's so funny... I'm sorry, I can't read this name several times.
Okay, that was from What's So Funny About Ubus Among Us. Oh, God damn it.
Okay, gotta read it.
Anthony LeBron... Anthony LeBron 1977 or 1977.
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
He asks, do you play basketball? The answer is...
We don't be ballin'.
We don't be ballin'.
Cuts the press. Holy shit, he ballin'!
Oh.
I just have Hellfire Productions crashed in here and nothing else.
Oh no! Is it?
Oh. That's funny.
Yeah, let me go actually go look at it real quick.
I mean, we got one more question from like a lazy bum dude.
Okay.
Alright. What are both of your favorite IRL series? No. What are both of your favorite IRL? Fuck. What are both of your favorite? What are your?
What is your? By the way, hi, said Joss.
Okay.
I tabletop with you.